more guarding, muscle imbalance, compromised joint structure, pain, guarding, muscle imbalance. So this is the cycle. The goal for you or for any practitioner like myself is to break people out of that cycle. Okay, so this applies not just to ankles, by the way. So your knees, it applies to knees, it applies to degeneration as well as acute trauma. That means whether be it impact, okay, physical impact to your knee, or it could be chronic. That means over time, poor posture and poor function leads to a chipping away of the joint. That is also considered an injury and will lead to this pain cycle. So the health of your spinal joints, okay, and your spinal cartilage is also very important. Okay, in your spine, there are 139 synovial joints in the spine alone, and cartilage exists in every single one of them. So do you think cartilage is important? Right, cartilage is very important. So posture is very closely related to the function of all these joints in your spine. Right, so we're going to have a look at what is good posture and what impact does it have on our lives. So on the right side, you see good posture. On the left side, you see bad posture. There are many ways that posture, many factors of our life that posture affects. So it affects our health, the way we feel, the way we communicate, and of course the way we appear. But I will just focus on probably the health aspect today. Right, so what is good posture? Your head should be stacked over your shoulders, over your hips, over your knees, and over your ankles and your foot. And your weight should be well distributed on the left and right. So you shouldn't be leaning on one side too much. Remember though, this is just a static posture. Okay, just before this talk started, I had some questions about scoliosis, right? Imbalance in the spine. So we got to understand that static posture is only one piece of the puzzle, right? So when I look at a person and I see there's imbalance, there's only one piece of the puzzle. We need to know how the joints are functioning as well. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Okay, so when you have good posture, your core is engaged, your diaphragm opens up, right, and it creates a lot more space in your abdominal cavity. So your stomach area underneath your diaphragm, it creates a lot more space, a lot more room, right, so that your digestive organs have space to function. Okay. Now, we know that posture is very important for you. Okay. What do you think affects posture? Right? Do you think posture is something that is genetic, or do you think that it is a lifestyle, or is created by habits? Okay, what do you think? Okay, the answer is number 2. Okay, it's created by your habits. Now, what can you do to improve your posture? Okay, or at least prevent your posture from degrading? This is what I want to share with you guys, because I know a lot of people are at home right now and they're working from home in this COVID-19 situation. So what I'm going to share next will be quite useful. It's very simple, but it is useful. Okay. Now, I would like you guys to do this thing called a posture break. And during your posture break, this is something you can do. Okay. So you want to do this every 30 minutes. So every 30 minutes, if you're seated, stand up and change your position. You don't want to be in one position for too long. I will explain shortly why. And this is what you can do during your posture break. This is an anti-gravity posture break. So I can't see any of you guys with me, so I'm lacking this feedback, but I'm just assuming that you guys are following me, okay? So if any of the MCs or something find there's a problem, you just unmute and just let me know. Okay, everyone can follow me to do this. So you want to bring your arms out to the side. You don't have to follow that guy, right? You want to let your arms hang downwards, okay? So your arms hang downwards, shoulders relax there. Press your chest forward, bring your head backwards a little bit, and then sit upright. Okay, now in this position, take deep breaths. Hold this position for 30 seconds, or about 7 to 8 breaths. Nice deep breath. This would help to reverse the effects of of poor posture. Okay, now, why 30 minutes? Okay, your spine can only tolerate the stress of a poor posture for around 20 to 30 minutes. Okay, after that, what happens is your disc will start taking the damage. Okay, let me show you my spine here. So this is your spine. Okay, this is an example of a spine. It's a model of a spine. This is the front of the spine, and this is the back of the spine. So you can see here, these are the spinal bones. Okay, spinal bones. In between the two spinal bones, you have your disc. So if you have poor posture, your body can tolerate, is resilient enough to tolerate it for maybe about 20-30 minutes. After that, these guys, okay, your disc are the one that starts taking the damage. So if you think about a sponge, okay, if you keep pressing and pressing onto it, the water will start to come out of the sponge. Okay, that's what happens. And this is the reason why it's important to do posture breaks, especially if you get frequent aches, especially if back aches impacts your life greatly. It is worthwhile to implement this discipline in your life, okay? Respect this. So that's a posture break. So far, what have we talked about? Let me just go to this slide. So what have we covered so far? Remember the 3 pillars, eat, think, and move. We have covered the moving well pillar, okay? And I've given you one strategy. This is a very important strategy. Most of the effective things in life are actually quite simple. The problem is getting the motivation or understanding why. Then we will do it, okay? So now, these 3 pillars, we talk about moving. One other commonly overlooked aspect of joint health is the nutritional aspect, right? The eating well aspect. Moving and rehabilitation, even manual therapy, it is important, but without this eating well piece, the approach is not holistic. Okay, so remember, all 3 pillars need to be screwed in tightly in order for health and healing and resilience to be created. Okay, and this is why the discovery of this compound called proteoglycan is important. Very often is the missing link. So if there are any health practitioners who are listening in on this call or this webinar, especially those who use a lot of manual therapy, this is an area that is often overlooked or is not emphasized enough, right? But if you consider this piece, the eating well piece, in your clinical interventions, your therapy, you have a lot higher chance of helping those treatment-resistant patients. Okay, treatment resistance means that you have worked on them for so long already, it keeps coming back or they don't seem to be getting better. Okay, so this proteoglycan is another tool that you can use in your toolkit. It's a very useful tool. This is how it looks like. Okay, the compound is proteoglycan, is found naturally. So this compound is very supportive, okay, when it comes to your joint and cartilage health. Now, because it is not talked about often, okay, the other things that support your joint are collagen and hyaluronic acid, but proteoglycan is not talked about often. So I think it's very useful for us to get a basic understanding of this compound. Okay, I'll go through this now. So far, everybody doing okay? Right? Hopefully you guys are doing fine, huh? Talk about proteoglycan. There are a few points I want to make about proteoglycan. Number 1, the extracellular matrix. Okay, where is it? So if you look at this area here, okay, you got your chondrocytes. So you got your cartilage cells. Okay, so these things are cartilage cells, but they exist in a gel matrix. So they're suspended in a matrix. So all your cartilage cells, they are suspended in the matrix, and in that matrix, all right, that is your extracellular matrix. Okay, the purpose of the extracellular matrix is to provide structure, and it's a source of moisturization for your joints. Number 2, people only know the 2 ingredients in the extracellular matrix. That is your collagen, your type 2 collagen, as well as your hyaluronic acid. Okay, but number 3, the superstar, okay, in the extracellular matrix is proteoglycans. Why? Okay. Okay, why is proteoglycan a superstar in the extracellular matrix? Number one, the moisturizing power far exceeds collagen and hyaluronic acid. So its ability to attract and retain water is a lot higher. So remember the example I shared just now about when your spine unable to tolerate the stress of poor posture, the sponge water starts coming out. Proteoglycan, hyaluronic acid, and collagen is the one that helps to retain the moisture in there, but it's also the one that helps to soak it up. Okay, so once you get out of the poor posture, it helps to rehydrate the joints. This is why it's important, right? And proteoglycan moisturizing power exceeds collagen and hyaluronic acid. Number two, proteoglycan actually helps to synthesize collagen and hyaluronic acid. Okay, so proteoglycan itself can stimulate the production of collagen and hyaluronic acid. And the last one is it has the same effect as this thing called the epidermal growth factor. This growth factor is important in accelerating cell regeneration. Okay, do you think cell regeneration is important for healing? Okay, it is important for healing, and proteoglycan has the same effect as EGF. Okay, now, so remember this area here, extracellular matrix. This is how it looks like. Okay, so this is your cartilage. And if you zoom in, all this area is your extracellular matrix, and this is your chondrocyte. This is your cartilage cell, okay? And it is in this gel matrix. So here is your type 2 collagen here. You got your proteoglycan here, and your hyaluronic acid, okay, which is this linkage here. Okay, we don't have to go so much detail. So, what are the 5 functions of proteoglycan? Let me just put it all out there first. Okay. So, number one, anti-inflammation, right? This is one of the best benefits of proteoglycan because many joint conditions have this element of excessive inflammation, too much inflammation, right? When there's too much inflammation, it leads to very slow recovery times. Okay, so that's number one, anti-inflammation. The second function of proteoglycan is cell regeneration. This is the epidermal growth factor that we just talked about. So this is something that collagen and hyaluronic acid does not have. Okay, they do not have the same effect as epidermal growth factor. Number 3, cartilage regeneration. It is difficult to regenerate cartilage, okay, because after a certain age, after 20 years old, your cartilage does not have any blood supply already. Okay, so it is difficult, but it is not impossible, right? It is possible because proteoglycan, it is a component in cartilage, and it can help to regenerate cartilage, right? And with proteoglycan, it can also help to synthesize collagen and hyaluronic acid. So there's the added benefit there, okay? So that's the third function. The fourth function is it improves bone metabolism. What is a common problem or common condition that tend to affect more elderly women and more frail women? What are they very afraid of? Okay? They're afraid of falling. So what's that condition called? Osteoporosis, right? So it is brittle bones. So bone metabolism is important. Now that's number 4. Yes. Okay, we'll continue. So number 5 is moisturization. So remember, the proteoglycan has 30% more moisture retention power than collagen itself. Okay, so all these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all these functions, they combine together, and once they combine, it leads to many of the stories that have come up. Okay, ever since people started using proteoglycan. Okay, now if it's okay with you, I want to share an example of how it's used. Okay, of experience as a testimonial. Okay, we're going to go to the next one. Okay, this is a video. Okay. So this is a video of, okay, This LC. Okay, this is in Japan. Okay, so this product originated from Japan. That's why a lot of the SLTs are from Japan. So she has problem getting down to the floor. You can see that she does not have a lot of knee flexion. Okay. In order to really sit down, she cannot bend her knees. She has to find a way around sitting down without bending her knees. So she has a lot of
いつもこんなして座ってるやってるの？しげさん。しげってどんなに立つの？
立つ時もやる？
うん、やってごらん。どんなに立つの？
Japanese people do every day. Okay. In Singapore, if you have elderly people,
毎日こんなだね、大変だね。
try
上田
sit
さん。
okay, they will have a chair that they always sit on. Right in the living room in front of the TV, there's always that chair that they
足
use.
をあれしてから、よ
Okay.
と。
いしょ。こんなやろう。
Okay, this is her after using Proteoglycan. Right, so she's walking a lot more smoothly. So movement is smoother, and look at her range of motion in the knees. Okay, she's even putting direct impact onto the knees. Okay, so it's a lot better.
だってまだちょっとは
Conditions like
そう
this
ね、ちょっと置いてお
improve
くよね。
okay. So you can see the improvement already. So conditions like this, especially in the elderly people, they don't recover easily. Okay, degeneration takes a long time to happen, and usually the healing process is slow. Even if they do recover, it usually takes takes a significant amount of time and effort to get better, right? And this is why addressing all the 3 pillars of health, addressing cartilage health with Proteoglycan, it can speed up recovery because all 3 pillars are screwed in properly. Okay, now. This is another example of an auntie from Taiwan, I believe. In the first picture, you can see here, let me bring my laser pointer out. Okay, give me a second. Okay, so in the first picture here, you can see that her range of motion is not great. Okay, there's a lot of effort. There's a lot of tension you can see in the joint as she bends her knee like that. So you can tell that her range of motion is very limited. There's a lot of swelling. You can see the swelling by the lumpiness of the joint. Okay, so you can see the lumpiness of the joint here. Right, this is her in the beginning. Right, so as she starts taking it, it gets better. So it's not as as she starts taking Proteoglycan, it is not as lumpy anymore. Okay, but at this point in time, I'd like to mention something as well. Okay, some people, when they start taking a new compound, okay, there's this thing called a healing crisis. So because the body is not used to taking this substance, even though this substance is naturally occurring, but it's just the body is not used to taking it. So it takes some time to adjust, and when that happens, not everyone will experience it, but sometimes it does. All right, so I want to let you know first in case you do experience this. So the symptoms might get worse first before it gets better. All right, we call this a healing crisis, and if it happens, you just have to wait for it to pass first. Okay. So number 2, swelling is reduced. Okay, and number 3 is finally, you can see that there's a lot less inflammation here, a lot better range of motion. She's able to bend more comfortably. Okay, so this is the progression. Right now, we've seen a story and an anecdote from Japan, the video, and this is from Taiwan. But I think it'll be very useful to hear from a case that's a bit closer to home. In Malaysia, all right. So I would like to invite Angie to share one of the story testimonial from that she has. Okay, is it okay? I pass it over to you.
Yes. Okay. Thank you, Dr. Tim. Okay. I'm Angie, and I just want to share with you about a testimonial here, and this is how I get to come to know about Tangsai product. Okay, this is Uncle Chong. He is actually my good friend's father. And what happened to him was he had a fall. And because of that fall, he had the hip bone was fractured. And because about 5 years ago, he had an operation and the doctor actually put some iron, some metal inside the hip. So the doctor don't actually encourage him to go for another operation, because operation, the doctor said is 50-50. And because he's so old, so my friend, his daughter decided not to go for operation. But of course, he was in severe pain. He couldn't move around. He was bedridden most of the time, or on wheelchair. He couldn't walk. All right. And for almost 2 months, okay? And after that, my friend came to know about Tanxi product, that is Proteoglycan, Profil and Joyfil. So she bought the product and let her father try, okay? So she gave him 4 pieces a day. And 5 days later, it's so amazing. It's really a miracle, really, thank God, that he could get up and walk with the help of the frame.
Slowly, yeah. This side.
So you can see that over here, his complexion is a bit pale, and he looked very tired. Okay, then after that you can really see the changes. Okay, the next one is actually about 2 weeks later. So you can see that his complexion is so much better, and he has got more energy, and he can walk better right now. Of course, the pain is still there, but it has been reduced so much that he's able to walk. Okay. So since now he can do some activity, the daily activities, So the doctor brought him back to the home, and now he don't have to, without the frame, he can walk without the frame. Okay, so this is so amazing. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Okay, this one, Uncle Chong is actually a very active person. He couldn't sit still. He liked to sweep. He liked to clean the outside area, sweep the leaf. He actually helped the neighbor to sweep the leaves, okay? And this one was actually before Chinese New Year. So normally before Chinese New Year, the weather is so hot, and he actually got heat stroke, and he was fainted, okay? He was fainted, but lucky thing, nothing happened to him, because the doctor told my friend that don't let him fall again, because his bone is very brittle, because he's a heavy smoker, and the bone is very brittle. If he fall again, the bone might fracture again. But thank God, he's on Tanxi product. He was taking. He's still taking Profil and Joyfil, and really thank God that nothing happened to him. Okay. And Proteoglycan actually helped him to recover so fast, and also helped him in terms of his memory, his eyesight, and also on the skin. Okay, so before that, the skin is very sensitive. If you scratch a bit, it will be bleed, or it will turn blue-black. Then you got to put the plaster. He always buy plaster and put. But after taking Proteoglycan, the skin has improved so much, and the eyesight also has improved so much, and also the memory also. You can see that he can play piano without looking at the score. He can just play from the memory. It's actually very amazing to see Uncle Chong. In the beginning, he fell down. He was bedridden. He couldn't move around, in severe pain. And after that, because of taking Tanxi product, and he can recover so much. Okay, and I want to show you this. The next picture, you can see that this picture on the left, the leg. Okay, you can focus on the leg. The leg is very skinny and very weak. And on the right hand side of this picture, you can see that the muscle and the bone, everything is strengthened. This one is after about 3 months taking Proteoglycan. Okay, so he actually told the doctor, he said that I can feel that both my legs now are very strong. So you can see that Proteoglycan helped him not only for him to recover, and help him on the bones and on the muscle, and actually help him a lot. Okay, overall, so it's actually very amazing. Back to you, Dr. Tim.
Thank you. Thanks, Angie. I wanted to maybe add on a little bit. A lot of times, you realize that the compound Proteoglycan, hyaluronic acid, and collagen also exists in your skin. Okay, so a lot of times when you take a compound like this, not only your cartilage will get better, but your skin gets better also. There's a side benefit, okay? Not a side benefit, but it is a benefit. Okay, now, thanks Angie. So the results that you see, okay, that we have, it is all because of the way that Thanks Eye is able to extract the proteoglycan from natural sources. Okay, so they have done the research and they have successfully patented this unique extraction technique. Right, so this extraction technique allows consumers, so when you consume the products, it allows us to access the full benefits of proteoglycan mentioned, all the 5 benefits mentioned earlier, and also all those benefits that are mentioned in the research papers. Right, and they have successfully gotten patents in these countries, the main big countries, Russia, Japan, US, Europe, and India. Okay, so what is the patent for? What is this extraction technique? So this is the difference. Okay, so almost all I believe proteoglycan extraction techniques in the market now, they use this thing called the acetic acid extraction method. But on the right hand side, you'll see that Thanks Eye, our proteoglycan, the product is called Profil. Okay, we use a proprietary technique. It's called the LPT, alkaline extraction technique. Okay, leaf protein technology. So what this does is it preserves the integrity of the proteoglycan molecule. This is very important difference. Okay, and then an analogy that I often use is miso. Okay, we all know that miso is generally healthy for you, right? It is healthy, it has fermented, a lot of probiotics in it. However, if you take the miso and you boil the miso in very high heat, what happens is you kill all the beneficial organisms that actually make miso healthy for you. Alright, so in the end, you just get a really salty, tasty, but the health benefits are not there anymore. So the moral of this story is that the processing method is important, right? And this particular method that we have has won awards. Okay, now let's talk about the differences really quickly. Number one, the way that we when other processing methods extract the proteoglycan, the core protein is cut off. Okay, but the one that we have the full complete protein. What does this mean? This means that I won't go into detail, but basically it allows us to allows the proteoglycan molecule to combine together with hyaluronic acid, and this combination increases the moisture retention ability of the proteoglycan itself, so that we are able to extract the whole protein. Okay, and number two, the extraction time takes a lot less. It takes a lot less time. So instead of 3 days, we're able to extract it in 1.5 hours. That's significant, right? And number three, other techniques only have 20%. They're only able to achieve 20% purity, but the Thanks Eye method, okay, this LPT, alkaline extraction method, we're able to preserve or achieve 90% purity. So if you are looking at the product, right, the product that you're eating, it is 90% purity, not 20%. Okay, that is significant. And number four, we're able to reduce the cost of extraction. Okay, so it used to be 300,000 yen. Someone told me that it used to be 300,000 US dollars. Okay, but for 1 gram, that is probably when it was in very early research stages. Okay, but right now we're able to produce it at the cost of 1,000 yen. What does this mean? It means that it makes it a lot more accessible for consumers. Okay, so it's not just in the realm of research anymore. The masses, people like us, we're able to take it. Okay, so it's a common problem out there. Okay, we know that the scientific community, the research community, is very excited about this compound called proteoglycan. There are thousands, tens of thousands of research going on about proteoglycan itself. But usually the problem is how it translates into how it helps us. Okay, it's great for research, but how does it help the consumers, right? So point number four is really good for bridging that gap. Okay, now this is the guy. His name is Professor Yoshiaki Kudo. He's the one that invented this process. Okay, and for this process, he got the Prime Minister's Award in Japan. right? He got the award for the discovery of this method and his contribution to the advancement of biotechnology in Japan, right? So this is a significant discovery, and we have the patent for it. Okay. Textile products are also JAPA certified. JAPA certified products have this label on them. So you look at this area here, okay, this if you look at the circles, okay, and that logo there, that's the JAPA certification logo. What does JAPA mean? It's the Japanese Association of Preventive Medicine for Adult Diseases. Better to use the word JAPA, okay, not such a mouthful. So a little bit about JAPA. So it was established, this association established early on, 1987, by 6,600 registered physicians. Okay, so these are medical of the Tokyo Metropolitan Medical Institution. The purpose is to recommend products that are used to improve human health and prevent adult diseases. So since their inception in 1987, as of 2017, the number of products certified by them so far is only 65. Okay, so to be able to get this certification is not easy. It requires the product to pass certain very strict criteria. Okay, and these are the criteria. I'll mention them because I think it addresses some concerns that people have. Okay, so the criteria is it needs to be natural, without any medicinal additives, without any side effects. It needs to be clinically proven to improve the condition of modern day chronic diseases. The company also must have no liabilities or no lawsuits that can result in the quality of the product and the safety of the product being compromised. Okay, it needs to have a reliable supply of raw materials. And lastly, it needs to be unanimous. There needs to be a unanimous agreement reached by all the 15 committees within the association. So at the end of the day, okay, all these certifications are to provide consumers with assurance that this product is safe and is of high quality. I think it's a really good initiative by the Japanese government because there are so many products out there. Okay, there's so many products out there, and certifications like this helps consumers to make wiser, more well-informed buying decisions. Okay, so that's what all this cert is for. There's another cert that they have, halal certification. So for those who are in Malaysia, this is good news. Profil has also been certified halal. This might be an important consideration for you. So that means that our Muslims are able to certify. Now, so after talking about all these certifications, I will conclude and come to the end of my part of the presentation. I'll hand over the time to Yvonne soon for the business aspect of today's webinar. I hope that it's been helpful for you guys so far. And if you do have any questions, do put it in the chat box. I can't see the chat box now, but someone will read it, and we will try to answer as many of them as possible at the end of the webinar, if we have time. But if we cannot, don't worry, the questions will be collated and we will be sure to address them in following or the next webinar. Right, so once again, my name is Dr. Timothy Fu. I'm a chiropractor from Singapore, and it's been a pleasure to share this with you guys today. All right, thank you so much, and it's back over to you, Angie.
Thank you, Dr. Tim. Thank you so much for your wonderful sharing and the tips that you have given to us. So, guys, I hope you get the most important, the tips from Dr. Tim and the 3 pillars for healthy joint: eat, think, and move. So make sure you look into all these things. Make sure you have a healthy joint, healthy body. Okay. Now, Dr. Tim, I'm not sure whether you realize or not, our participants here is 98. It's almost close to 100. That's a lot. That's actually double of what we have last week compared to last week. So Dr. Tim, please come back again and share with us more about the healthy joints, spines and everything. Okay. All right. Yeah. So actually, it's so wonderful. Okay, we have learned. I'm sure everybody has learned something from you. Okay. Now let's move on to our next speaker. Our next speaker is also all the way from Singapore. She has been in the network marketing industry for about 8 years. And before this, she was an engineer. And after graduating from NUS, she went overseas to do her MBA full time. Okay. And then she became a business consultant in one of the top consulting firms in the world. And 8 years ago, she was introduced to network marketing, and she realized that this is actually a very great business model and it can impact many lives around the world. Okay, so tonight she's going to share with us why she chose Thanks I as a business. Okay, let's all welcome Miss Yvonne Tay.
Hi everyone, can you hear me?
Hi.
Hi. Okay, I'm Yvonne from Singapore. So thank you so much for Angie, your introduction, and also thanks to Dr. Tim for his wonderful sharing. I think we all of us learned a lot. So as Angie has mentioned, so I actually have about 8 to 9 years of experience in the network marketing industry. So today I will share more about our company and why I think our Thanks I business is so good. So let me share the slides first. Okay. Okay. Okay, can you see the slides? And right? Okay, so our company is actually Thanks I. It's a company that started in Japan in 2009 by Mr. Fujiwara, our president. Okay, so as you can see from 2009, after that, the global expansion started in a few years later, started from 2015, starting from Taiwan, followed by Hong Kong, Macau, Philippines, and then our latest market to open was actually Cambodia just last year. So Malaysia has also been open about 1 year plus. Okay, so on top of that, we're also able to do the business for over 120 over countries worldwide in a more like online e-commerce model. Okay, so our company Thanks I has also been awarded the best network marketing company in Japan for 3 years consecutively. So you can see that for the 3 years consecutively, 2016, 17, 18, we actually awarded the best network marketing company. So Thanks I is actually not just a fly-by-night company. It's actually a very reputable company in Japan and worldwide. Just that now it's quite a new company in terms of overseas markets. So this is where we are expanding a lot. Okay, so I will explain a bit about why I think that the Thanks I opportunity is so good. So I'll cover 5 main points here: the innovative products, the comp plan, company owner, global opportunity, and the right timing. So I'll talk into details about each of them. Okay, so just now, Dr. Tim has shared about one of our products in Thanks I. So you can see from here the product range in Malaysia. So I'll talk about Malaysia first because we have a lot of Malaysian counterparts here. Okay, so you can see Proteoglycan is actually our profile product, the first product, the purple one. Okay, then you can see we have actually a range of supplement series and skincare series. Okay, so besides profile, we have a lot of very innovative products that are really, really very amazing products that have a lot of testimonials in the various markets. And then our latest product is actually Genex. You see the last one on the right, the one in green. So Genex is actually, it targets epigenetics, which means that the gene expression. That's really very advanced kind of product that really impacts our gene expression. So I won't talk into more detail here about the product because of the time constraint. Later on, we always have different product talks that you can actually listen into to understand more about our product. Okay, so this is the product range in Malaysia, then followed by, this is actually the NFR International Product Range. So you may ask, what is NFR? So NFR is actually the countries around the world that haven't officially opened. Remember just now I talked about the few countries that opened, like Taiwan, Japan, Hong Kong. So NFR is actually the 120 over countries that are not officially open with the office yet. So the products can actually be ordered online and then it will be delivered directly from Japan to the customer in that country. So it makes it very easy to do a global business. So these are the 7 products that are available in the NFR countries. So Singapore is actually one of the NFR countries as well. But it's one of the markets that are going to open an office soon as well. Okay, so this is the products. And the second point will be the revolutionary Thanks I compensation plan. So I'll cover a few points about the highlights of why our compensation plan is so good. I won't go into details about the comp plan. If you want to know more details, you can ask the person who invited you today. But the highlights is, one of the biggest highlights is that our compensation plan, we have a very high payout. So what does this high payout mean? 60 to 70% of the revenue is actually paid out in commission. So this means that, for example, for every $100 of sales revenue that the company earns, that they bring in, so $60 to $70 of this $100 is paid out as commission to distributors like us. Okay, that's a very, very high payout. So I'll give you an example as comparison to a lot of other companies. For example, some of the very famous US companies, for example, Company N, okay, their payout is about 38 to 40%, and then average in the market is about 30%. So for us to have a 60 to 70% payout is very, very high. And we're talking about cash basis. So 60 to 70% based on cash. So a lot of companies, they might say that they also pay 60% of the revenue paid out as commission, but actually they count it as point basis. So if the point value is like 2:1 dollar, so in fact 60% of the point basis means that your real cash payout is actually only 30%. So for Thanks I, we are actually talking about a 60 to 70% based on cash basis. So that's very high. Okay, and the second point is that just when we are doing network marketing, of course, we are looking at a recurring income, passive income, right? So we have a very high recurring income because for some markets, actually now globally, we have the packages, for example, the 6 months, 12 months packages where people can actually buy products in packages. Means that they actually can enjoy a lower price because they get, for example, you buy 6 items, you get 1 free, you buy 12, you get 3 free. So actually the average price of the products actually is cheaper for them, so they benefit. And as well as there's actually high recurring income. So for example, as you see in the diagram on the right, okay, so basically our plan is using a binary system. So basically you have a left team and a right team. So if somebody on the left buys and then somebody on the right buys, so just saying it very simply, right, if you have one on the left, one on the right, so you have one level pair. So you can actually earn up to 200 ringgit per level for that pair. So in US dollars is about 45 US dollars. So let's say so for example, the fresh graduate pay in Malaysia is about, I would say, 2,000 plus ringgit. Okay, so if you achieve 10 levels, you can actually achieve about easily achieve a passive income of 2,000 ringgit per month, every month. Because when they buy the packages, right, it is a recurring income because all these accounts is considered that they buy for 12 months. So you actually have secured sales for the whole year. So this gives it a very good passive income. This one, in more details, you can ask the person who invited you today. So the third highlight of the compensation plan is that we have a very high global bonus pool. So actually 7% of the global revenue is paid out as bonus. So this is really very high because in a lot of companies, they might have also a global bonus pool, but maybe they only pay like 1 to 2%. But here we're talking about 7%. And it's attainable because for example, my previous company, they actually pay out 1 to 2% of the global revenue paid out as this kind of global bonus pool. But in 10 years, only one person got it one time. So it shows how difficult it is to achieve. But in Thanks I, right, so basically you're from gold rank and above, which means that it's kind of a mid-tier rank, you can actually start enjoying this global bonus pool, which is very, very amazing. Okay, so then the fourth point, I would say that we are using a binary system, which means that you build one team on the left, one team on the right, right? So a lot of people, why they do not like binary systems? I mean, if they understand binary systems, why a lot of people have they don't really like binary system? Because most companies with this binary system, right, they always have to match left and right. So maybe like you have one side, team A that is smaller, and then team B sales is much bigger, right? But if you cannot match the A and B, right? You only basically you earn maybe 10% of the team A sales. So the rest of the big team sales, which we usually call the elephant leg, you actually cannot really earn from it. So from our comp plan, right, we actually can earn not only from the small team sales, but you can earn 5 times from the big team. So that's a very, very amazing part of this comp plan, which I think I haven't seen in other companies. Okay. And then we have a very well-balanced compensation plan, because a lot of companies, right, maybe only the big leaders can really earn so much. And then while the newcomers, the small leaders can't really earn. But here, because it's very well-balanced, right, we can actually see that not only the big leaders can earn, but also the newcomers, the mid-tier leaders also can earn quite a good income. Okay. So here is actually our global leader, Mr. Nobuhiro Kaneko. He actually achieved Crown Diamond and a very high income of $300,000 per month. I'm not talking about year, I'm talking about month. Okay, so $300,000 per month in just 2 years. So this really shows how good our payout is, because our company is very generous in paying out. So let me give you an example. So for example, we're actually comparing to, okay, in Japan, there's a top leader in Japan. I guess everyone knows Amway, right? So Amway has been around for very long. So the top, one of the top Japanese leaders in Japan, right? I think he has been in the business for about 40 years. So he averaged, I think he earned about $250,000 per month. So that's after 40 years. But our leader, Mr. Kaneko, he actually managed to achieve $300,000 per month in just 2 years. So that shows the speed and then the how good our plan is, that the company is willing to pay out. Okay, so this is a simple example. Okay, then the third point is, okay, why, just now remember I said our company pays out a lot, 60 to 70% of the revenue they can pay out. So when we see our company owner, Mr. Fujiwara, he's a very, you can see he's quite young. So he's about 47 years old, but he has over 20 years of experience in the network marketing industry. So what does this mean? He actually understands the needs of distributors like us. So what happened is that when he was 20 plus years old as a young man, he was actually started in the network marketing industry, was doing very, very well. I think his probably average commission is about 70 to 80,000 US dollars per month. But after that, something happened in that business. I think maybe some ethics issues. So he actually left the company. And then later on, he was trying to find a company that not only the products are very good, but also the company, the comp plan is very good for the distributors. But he couldn't really find that company. So in the end, he actually set up his own company. And one of the companies is actually ThanksI. So ThanksI, you realize that there's actually no investors in ThanksI. He's the sole owner in ThanksI, which means that he will not let anybody else invest in ThanksI. And the reason is because, like, usually in companies, right, a lot of companies, they have investors, and about 15% of the company's profit actually goes to the investors to pay the investors. Okay, then but he decides to not have any investors so that this 15% can be paid out to distributors instead. That's one of the reasons why our commission plan can be much higher. And then he also maintains that he will not list in the stock exchange, because stock exchange is also, it will be public, and then there will be a lot more investors. And then so he, like, some of the profit actually has to go to those investors. And then he doesn't want to do that because, like, he doesn't want some of the profit to go to people, just investors that are not even like users of our product. Okay. So another reason why he can actually achieve such a high payout is because he owns about 20 subsidiary companies. Okay, like for example, the production, the IT company, the call center and stuff like that. So all these companies, right, they are actually supporting ThanksI. So they are able to streamline the cost so much that they can actually keep the cost low while maintaining a very high quality of products. Okay, so this is how he actually achieved a very high payout for distributors. And then you realize that this is actually not duplicable in other companies, because we can't expect all the companies to own like 20 over subsidiary companies to support the company, right? So this is a very rare company and business opportunity that I would say that I have seen in all these years. So this is one of the big reasons why a lot of leaders, they really like to work with Mr. Fujiwara and Thanks I. Okay, then the fourth point will be it's a true global opportunity because now, for example, just now I already mentioned, so starting from 2015, they started expanding in Taiwan, followed by Hong Kong, Philippines, Thailand, then Malaysia, Cambodia. And then the next few markets to open will be Vietnam, Singapore, Indonesia, and also India. So these are all in the process. So you see with all these countries opening, and not just that, we are also able to do business with 120 over NFR countries worldwide. So you would realize that, especially in this pandemic season, right? You realize that it's actually very important to be able to do a global business so that actually your risk is lower because you can't just do business in one country. To have a global business is much more a good way to go for a business. Okay, so to actually have this global opportunity and to be able to actually do everything online. In fact, we can have these meetings on Zoom. We can buy products, register people online, and then the IT system by the company, because it's actually kind of owned by the Thanks I as well, right? So it's a very solid system that can actually support globally. So you realize that this is actually a very, very good opportunity. And a lot of like in the past, a lot of people had some, maybe a bit skeptical about this industry, but now during this pandemic period, right, a lot of people start to even those traditional business owners, the very experienced entrepreneurs, the high flyers and the MNCs, they also start to see that, whatever they're doing in the traditional business or their job, it's not safe anymore. And then they start to be open-minded to explore another business model like network marketing. So this is a really true global opportunity. Okay, so why is the timing so important? Okay, now why is this the right timing for our opportunity over here? So you can see for our industry, right, we always have 3 stages. The first stage will be formulation period, the first few years, followed by the rapid growth stage, where you will see a lot of people start to come into the business, a lot of people start to come in, be consumers, start to do the business, and then stabilization period. Okay, so the formulation stage is when most people still do not know about the opportunity, which means that there's a higher probability of success. Okay, so for example, now Thanks I, right? If let's say you talk to the people around you, your friends, you realize that a lot of people still do not know what is Thanks I. Haven't heard of Profil, haven't heard of Proteoglycan, haven't heard of Thanks I being a company. Okay, so this is a very good timing. It's almost like first mover advantage. So like there's the billionaire in Hong Kong, Li Ka-shing. So he actually said that if only 5% of the people know about the opportunity, it's still a very, very good opportunity. Okay, so now it's a very good timing. Okay, then the rapid growth period is after that, like about 3 to 5 years later, where most people start to join in here. Then people start to hear about it. Then you realize that a lot of people around you know about it. That's the rapid growth stage. And then stabilization stage is when you will realize that a lot of consumers are purchasing the products. For example, like the big companies around like Amway, they already have a lot of huge consumer base. Like for example, even my grandmom, my auntie, my uncle, they all come in and they have been members of Amway before. So you realize that the customer base is already very big. And then everyone knows about the company. That's already the stabilization period. So when you talk about the opportunity for business, right, what are we talking about? The best opportunity is at the beginning stage, formulation period. Then followed by, you can see the opportunity actually goes down. So what's the best timing? It's actually now. So as you can see, right, okay, so Thanks I now, the worldwide sales revenue is about $60 million a year. So the company is actually targeting about reaching 10 times in the next 5 years. So you can see, right, that if they say now we are in the business and our income is about $10,000 a month. So if you ride the wave, 5 years later, it's possible that our income can be $100,000 a month. Or let's say if you're saying that, okay, we haven't earned so much, maybe we're only earning $1,000 a month part-time. So if you ride the wave, but 5 years later, it's possible that you get $10,000 per month. Correct? So if $10,000 per month passive income, or extra income for you. Isn't that very good? So that is when we say that now is a very, very good timing. Okay? So a lot of you might be wondering, okay, so with all these good products and good company, good compensation plan, how do I start? Or how do I buy the products? If you just want to be a consumer, you can also just join as a consumer, buy the products, good for your skin, good for your joints, good for your, all your health. Okay, you can see this, we actually have a range of different packages, but here I will talk about the most popular 2 packages, which is the 2+1, buy 2 get 1 free, and the buy 8 get 2 free package. So you can see the package price. The 2+1 is about 1766 ringgit, which is approximately $400 US. Then the bigger package, let's say you really need it for your health, your joint issues and general health, or maybe your whole family want to buy at a cheaper price, you can buy the bigger package. So it's about 4,900 ringgit, approximately about 1.1 thousand US dollars. So this is a very, very good package, which is the most popular package. Okay, so if you want to know more about what other options there are, you can ask your friend, the person who invited you to this call. Okay, so the next step, this will be completely optional. So for example, if you take the product, you think that, hey, it's such a good product, or I want to do the business. How do I start the business? So I'll just give you 3 simple steps how to actually get kickstart on the business. Okay, very simple. The first step, you be a consumer. You buy a package, become a consumer, try the products, let it work on you. You have your own very good testimonial. Later on, you can share with 6 friends. Just 6 friends. It's not a lot, just 6 people. Okay, share with the people, your family, your friends, the people around you. And then later on, step 3 is teach 1 and 2. So it's a very, very simple business. Basically, you consume, share, and duplicate. Okay? So I'll just give you a rough idea of this. So let's say you duplicate, you introduce 6. These 6 people introduce 6, and then it goes on and on and on. So it's possible in the ideal case, after 6 months, it's possible to actually get a monthly income of 200,000+ US dollars. But of course, you might be asking, yeah, this is the ideal case. I don't think it's so easy. Is it really so easy? I don't think I can do it. But if you have this self-doubt, it's okay because everyone starts somewhere. We will train together and we support everyone together, and then it's possible step by step you can go there. And then let's say we don't reach there in 6 months, or let's say we don't get 200,000+ US dollars in 6 months. But let's say we take just 5% of that. What is 5% of this amount? We just do 5%. That's already about 10,000 US dollars a month. So isn't that a very, very good income? So just think about it. 10,000 US dollars a month extra income for you. Doesn't that sound very good? So this is the average monthly earnings of the various ranks. So for example, if you say, oh, I'm working, I'm very busy, I just want to do it part-time. We can look at, the silver or triple silver. So for example, you have extra income about 500 to 1,500 US dollars. Okay? That's extra income, which is very, very good. Pocket money. Then after that, later on, maybe you think that you're slightly more serious, you want to earn more. Then maybe you reach the gold rank to 6 gold rank, which is about 5,000 to 20,000 US dollars a month. Or if you're like full-time and very serious about this, doing a global business, really coaching and bringing up the teams, diamond and above, 30,000 US dollars, all the way to 300,000 US dollars or even more. So this is possible because remember just now I showed you that Mr. Kaneko, our global leader, he has already proven that it's possible to really get 300,000 US dollars. He did it in 2 years. So 2 years, is it worth it? It's definitely worth it. Okay? So this brings us to the choices, right? So the 3 C's in life: choices, chances, and changes. So if you are very happy with your life now, you don't need any changes, it's okay, you can just go on with your life and stay there. But if they say there's something you want to improve, you want to change your life, you want to increase your income, you want to help the people around you, impact more lives, then you can actually make a choice to take a chance, or your life will never change. Okay? So with this, I hope you enjoyed this presentation. I'll pass it back to our MC, Angie.
Thank you, Yvonne. Thanks. Thank you for your wonderful sharing. So we have unique and amazing products. We have good company. We have attractive compensation plan. And furthermore, the business is so easy. It's easy, simple, and easy to duplicate. So most importantly, we are at the right timing, okay? So everyone grab hold of this opportunity. Let us ride on the wave together, okay? And to make some changes to our life, okay? For our health, for our family, overall, okay? Now, thank you everyone for your time to join us, okay? For taking some time off to join us this evening. I hope you have got something from our sharing, all right? And just to share with you, in October, we have got some promotions, okay? For this month, you can buy 3 sets. When you buy 3 sets, you will get 1 set extra free. That means 3 sets plus 1 set. This is the October promotion. For this month, it's a global promotion, all right, available to NFR country also. And good news to NFR countries like, for example, Singapore and other countries that don't have Tangsai office in their country. You can also buy bulk purchase. That means you can buy your purchase like for 3 months, 6 months, and 12 months, and you pay only minimum for the shipping charges. So in this case also, you can actually enjoy the product more with cheaper price, okay? So this is our October promotion, 3 sets plus 1 set, all right? 3 plus 1, 3 set free, 1 set, okay? And thank you everyone for joining us, and hope to see you all again. Tomorrow we actually have another session by Thanks I Malaysia. This one is about gut health by our Thanks I nutritionist, Miss Jen. This one will be in Chinese tomorrow at 2:30 p.m. Okay, so hopefully you can join again and find out more about Thanks I product and how it can help you to improve your health, not only on your joints or bones, but actually overall, okay, from head to toe. All right. Now, if you have any Q&A, you can actually unmute your mic and ask us the questions, or you can type in the chat box. All right. For Q&A, we will open up to everyone for about 10 minutes. Okay. So everyone, you're welcome to ask questions. I think we have some question in the chat box.
Yes, I saw someone.
Yes.
There's a message that says that people always complain about low back pain. The nerves are being pressed, and since there's cartilage all around the body, does this mean that? So does this mean? Is it caused by the cartilage not being in good shape? Okay. So there could be a number of reasons for the pain that you feel. It could be a chronic issue, or it could be a acute issue, right? So acute problem means that there's some sort of trauma, there's an accident or something, and then you experience the problem. But most people, they call it an insidious onset. That means we don't really know what the problem is. We don't know where did it first start, but things just slowly build up. Okay, there was one example that I didn't mention, but most of the time, the injury pattern is like that. Okay, have anyone heard of this expression called the straw that broke the camel's back? Right, so the straw that broke the camel's back. Very often it starts by some sort of dysfunction. Maybe there's postural dysfunction in the body. So the joints are not loaded properly, right? So every time there's dysfunction in the joints don't load properly, there's uneven weight bearing. So it is chipping away at the joint, okay? So when it's chipping away at the joint, not just cartilage can be affected, but muscles, ligaments can be affected as well, right? So not just cartilage only, but all three can be affected. In the beginning, you don't necessarily feel the pain because your body adapts around it, right? If every small problem, your body is going to report to you that there's pain, we will be in pain most of the time. Okay, so most of the time, our body doesn't tell us that it's very painful first. Usually experience maybe a bit of stiffness first as the body tries to guard or to protect that joint. okay, because it's still being damaged in a very small way. Then over time, if nothing is being done, it will reach to a point where the body will say, it reaches a threshold. So your body will say that, no, this is enough, okay? I don't think you should be doing this anymore. And this is when the pain signal that's when you start feeling pain. So very often, many people come in to see me out of there's no reason. Suddenly they just bend and pick up something and then boom, very painful. Okay, so one person told me like, yeah, it was in the morning, right? And then they were bending over to pick up the toothbrush to brush the teeth, right? And when bent over, pick up the toothbrush, wow, there's a sharp pain in the back. Is it because the toothbrush was so heavy? Right? No, it's not because the toothbrush is heavy, right? It's because there's dysfunction already. It was building up. And finally, picking up and going into the action was the straw that broke the camel's back, right? So that was the point where your body says, no, that's enough, right? So to answer that question directly, yes, cartilage is involved, but there's also other things involved as well, right? So your muscles, your ligaments, and when you talk about injury, refer back to the pain injury cycle. We need to kind of break out of that cycle. So okay, hopefully that give you a background of what the problem is. Oh, actually, maybe I didn't address the sharp pain, right? So so sometimes, okay, there might be sharp pain if the nerve itself is affected. More often than not, it is not a compression of the nerve, okay? It's not a compression of the nerve. It's because of inflammation around the area that irritates the nerve. So the way nerve, the function of nerve is, the way to damage nerve is not to compress it. The worst thing you can do to a nerve is actually pull it this way. So it's not this kind of compression that's bad for nerve, but it's pulling it this way. That is the one that causes the most damage to nerve. Okay, so a lot of the sharp pain and nerve pain that people experience usually is not because of the compression of the nerve, but it's because there's inflammation pulling in the area, and the inflammation is made up of a few substances, and that substance would aggravate and would irritate nerves. Right? Then when it irritates the nerve will send a pain signal to your brain and says, oh, there's something going on there. All right. So that's the explanation for sharp pain. Okay.
Dr. Tim, very good evening. Dr. Tim.
Hi.
Can I ask you a question? Sorry. Can I ask you a question, Dr. Tim?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I have a friend of mine here in the session, Dr. Mohinder. He's suffering from his spine, some spine issues. He's here right now with us, and he had taken a Profil for almost 4 days since now. He's taking it for 4 days, and he's complaining that his pain has increased. I remember you telling in the session that it will be a stage where you have the max pain. Can you explain him, please?
Yeah, so there are many kinds of healing crisis. Sometimes it's a chemical one, sometimes it's mechanical. So this happens a lot when I'm going to share with you a principle. Okay, so because this happens a lot when, even in my practice, when I work with patients. So as patients get better, because what's happening is as we fix them, we are essentially removing compensations. Okay, so we're removing compensations in the body. So when we do that, new things tend to come up, right? So in terms of clinical reasoning, all right, how you would want to address the issue is remove any interfering the problem that's interfering for the patient, but expect that there might be new things coming up, and as new things come up, we fix those things, right? So that's the reason why some people experience a healing crisis. So for example, taking Profil spinal issue, so it depends on what kind of spinal issue, but if there's a compensation around it and you sort of remove the inflammation in the area, you're essentially, sometimes you might be removing the body's ability to guard that joint.
Okay, so I think we can assure him that within a span of 1 week he'll be good.
Okay, with because Profil and Proteoglycan is a dietary supplement, right? So it's not, it hasn't undergone that kind of, it's not being researched like a pharmaceutical drug,
Okay.
right? So the time frame is very variable, unfortunately, but it should be okay. From my experience, within a week or two, right, things should start getting better. But also take note, if it's getting so intense and unbearable, please go and see someone right, to address that. I talked about the 3 pillars of health, right? So it's not just taking good fuel for the body, but you also need to make sure the biomechanics is doing well, right? You need to make sure that all those things are functioning well so that the person can heal. So like with joints, a lot of times cartilage, there isn't a very good blood supply to cartilage. That's why range of movement is so important. Range of movement and the moving of the joints is the mechanism that brings nutrients into the cartilage. Okay, so consider the 3 pillars of health. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Tim. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Okay. Angie, you asked how can Proteoglycan help? Oh, sclerosis or scoliosis? So, so scoliosis is it the S-shaped?
Yeah. Maybe I spelled wrongly.
No worries. So that is scoliosis. Again, the term for scoliosis, for most scoliosis out there, is called AIS, which is adolescent idiopathic scoliosis, right? The word idiopathic means that they don't really know the cause. Okay, so a lot of times give it a big name, but they actually really don't know what the cause of scoliosis. There's new research coming out that it could be a brain or inner ear imbalance issue, but there are many ways to address scoliosis, right? So the most common way is to address it biomechanically. That means try to straighten things up. Okay. So the thing with scoliosis is like what we mentioned. I think we mentioned that in the pre-chat. When you look at a person's posture and you see the S-shaped spine, it does not necessarily mean that it is really, really bad, because it's only one piece of the puzzle, right? The other piece of the puzzle is function, right? We don't go through life in a static posture. We go through life dynamic and we move. So there are some people who have curvature in the spine, but they're living life actually pretty okay, all right? So in those cases, it may not be a good idea to kind of force them into a ideal curve, right? But your question was whether Proteoglycan can help with scoliosis. It helps because it will increase your body's resilience. Okay, so that means your cartilage is healthier, so it can take more stress, right? So health, one of the ways I define health is the body's ability to handle increasing levels of stress, right? So if you have very good cartilage stores, you have very good proteoglycan stores, your body is able to handle a little bit more of the stress. So even though your spine may be a S-shape, you wouldn't break down so easily. Okay, but proteoglycan itself, it doesn't miraculously straighten the spine. Okay, if that's the question. But it's it plays a very important supportive role to speed up recovery.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Tim.
My pleasure. Okay.
Dr. Tim,
Yes.
I have a question. Okay, my mom has been having bad knee. She cannot bend her knee for quite some time. So it's been 1 month plus. I gave her Joy Feel and also Mineral Eye. And this month I just started giving her Jogenex. But do you think that I should give her Profil as well instead of the Mineral Eye?
Okay, so is the question about maybe prioritizing what?
Which should she take more? Because she's been having that pain for the longest time. You know, she can't bend. It will be very difficult for her to walk. She needs help, and it's making her very edgy because of that. So I want to help her improve faster. So I want to know which one would be best for her.
Well, disclaimer is always every individual is different, but I will share with you what's the reasoning, okay? So one of the main benefits of proteoglycan is the anti-inflammatory part, okay? So I think if there's inflammation involved, very likely there is some sort of inflammation involved. It is very useful for her to have proteoglycan. The epidermal growth factor component of proteoglycan is very powerful because how old is she?
She is what? 72.
Okay, so at that point in time, usually our cell regeneration starts to go down, right? Right. So the epidermal growth factor component of proteoglycan will be very useful because it will help to generate more collagen and hyaluronic acid, in the cartilage itself. So that's why I would kind of prioritize a combination of Profil and Joyfil. So you have that anti-inflammatory component, but you also have, a huge chunk of our cartilage is actually made out of the type 2 collagen. So that type 2 collagen in Joyfil is very useful, right? And then on top of that, okay, I'm actually a very big fan of Geogenics. I want to do a phytonutrient talk next time, right? So the great thing about it's very synergistic because Geogenics targets the cellular component like the DNA and the protein replication health, but Profil and Joyfil, they target the extracellular matrix. Okay, so that's why when I saw Dr. Joe, when he was presenting it, I was like, this is really good synergy there because you address inside the cell as well as the areas outside the cell. And yeah, you need both for regeneration to happen. So obviously minerals have its benefit as well. Folic acid is fantastic, but if you want to prioritize for that individual, I would prioritize Profil and Joyfil if it is a joint issue.
Okay.
Hopefully that helps.
Dr. Tim, one question.
Yes.
Yeah. I have a friend of mine who has suffered a spine injury, It's almost 3 months for him. He's bedridden. So how do you recommend, because what he says is you got those discs, in the spine, where you have the discs in the spine where the liquid is out, yeah, something like that. So how will Profil or Joyfil help him out, and what will be the dosage like if you recommend?
Dosage it varies from person to person. So I've heard some people when they have conditions, they can take daily from 3 all the way to 10 pieces is. I think it's quite a lot. Okay, it's a luxury. But the great thing about this product is, it's natural and it's hypoallergenic. So it wouldn't cause an allergic reaction. You might have a healing crisis, but it won't be because of allergy.
Okay. So you mean to say if you have extra, it doesn't make a difference. No side effects, right?
There's no side effects. So the most important thing is safety, right?
Okay.
But in terms of the optimal level, like how much to eat to get the best benefit, it really varies from the individual, right? All down to the genetics and epigenetics. So, but definitely it's worthwhile having that nutritional support. Again, having that nutritional pillar is important, but the individual cannot ignore getting assessed as well. All right. So
Yes.
so make sure he gets assessed by a professional or a practitioner that specializes and understands that condition.
Yeah, he's going. He's actually going a treatment under a chiropractor. Yeah. So, what do you recommend? Like, we can have Joyfil and Profil together, like one dose in the morning and one in the evening, like in a day. Joyfil and Profil together.
Yeah, you can take it together. In general, when you take high quality products, okay, it's always in general better to eat it on an empty stomach.
Thank you.
Right. So you can take it I would take it okay, this is my reasoning for taking it in the morning and at night. In the morning, stomach is empty, you just woke up. Right? At night when you take it, your body repairs itself at night.
Okay.
Right? So your body enters, assuming that you have a good night's sleep, okay? Body enters a repair stage. And when your body is repairing, that's the time when your body is trying to search, right, for good ingredients raw materials, different kind of proteins or compounds to sort of to recover, to heal injury, right? So that's my reasoning for morning and evening.
Thank you, Dr. Tim. And one last question for you. I know psoriasis, psoriasis is an autoimmune disease. I can understand that, but how can this help out? The Profil or Joyful, any of these for the psoriasis patients?
I mean psoriasis, those with
Yes,
the skin.
yes.
Yeah. So I'm not sure about the autoimmune, like the ability of proteoglycan to regulate the immune system. In that case, you might want to look at folic acid. Okay, but in terms of providing good raw material, if you provide good raw material like proteoglycan at Joyfill, your skin will naturally get. At least it wouldn't kind of degrade. The condition wouldn't degrade. But we need to look at the reasons as well, because these are medical conditions. We need to find out the root cause. It could be it could be something that he's very sensitive to that's triggering the autoimmune response, right? If that's the case, then definitely more investigation need to be done. But no matter what the intervention is, right, providing a good baseline, good foundation would set the person up to success, right? So whatever therapies that he's going to have is going to amplify the effects of those therapies.
Thank you so much, Dr. Tim. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot. Yeah.
Okay, thank you everyone. Due to time constraint, we will keep the question for the next session, or maybe we'll try to bring back Dr. Tim. He's a very busy person, but we'll try to arrange him to come back and share with us again. All right. So thank you everyone for your time. And Dr. Tim, is there anything else you want to add before we say goodnight?
I think that's plenty. Looking forward to see and choose the next topic, and we will discuss that later. But thanks for listening, everybody. I hope you got something out of it today.
Yes, of course we do. Okay, good night everyone. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Dr. Tim. Thanks.
Good night, everyone.